All right, everybody, got a quick YouTube video here, and this is another tip if you have a business, whether it's a corporation, S Corp, sole proprietor, side hustle, whatever you're doing, okay? This is something that I need people to pay attention to because this will probably save you a whole heap of trouble down the line. And so I want you to avoid this while reporting business income and expenses. But before I go any further, if you are enjoying my content, there are 4 simple things I want you to do to show your love. Number 1, hit that like button. Number 2, share the channel with your friends. 3, subscribe to the channel. And then lastly, hit the bell so you get alerted when there's new videos coming out. So I have an example here, and this might be on a return, like where you report your sales of $100,000. You got a nice little side hustle going. And a lot of people will have these random expenses, it seems like, in your books, like where you might have, oh, I bought some books, or I bought some software, some online courses, little things like that. That might be like $300, $500, but it adds up. And so what you end up doing is creating an account in your books that says other expenses. And then you put it on your return, and let's say it's $10,000. That can be a red flag, and I would avoid doing this. You do not want to have a return where this amount is pretty, like in comparison to this 100, it's a pretty big amount. Is there a guideline? No, I don't think there's a guideline, or there's not a hard and fast rule for like what percentage of, if you have another expense item, what it should be in relation to your sales. I like to keep it as low as I can. Maybe less than $1,000 in this case. And I get it. We don't need to have a bucket for everything, but I definitely would try. My recommendation is always to try to make this as low as possible. You want that to be as low as possible because that will help you out. You want to make sure that this amount is as low as it can be, because it just avoids, because what can happen here is you could get audited and they're going to say, why do you have $10,000 of other expenses? There's no detail behind it. You haven't put detail and stuff. And so what I recommend is if this is like, let's say, bank fees, if it's, I don't know, let me think, books, dues, like list them all out. If you have these, list them out. List all of them out. That will help you. The more detail that you provide, the easier your life becomes. And so this may mean that you need to get in QuickBooks and set it up a little different. Set it up so that you can do all this stuff in a very easy and timely manner, and get through these, categorize expenses a little bit more, granularly. But you need to do this because you want to avoid having a big number in other miscellaneous expenses. It just creates a red flag and it increases your audit risk. You want to make sure that you itemize everything. And again, like if this were like $500, that's not a big deal. It's when you get these big amounts here, in this case, that's 10% of your sales. And so it raises red flags. So you want to be detailed and as reasonable as you possibly can be when you list out your expenses. Don't just throw things in, other expenses and lump them in there. Try to break it out, especially if you have some larger amounts in there. Like if 5,000 of that is club dues or dues to some society, well then list it separate, and then that way this becomes 5,000 and you have it separately listed. If you have a lot of bank fees, list that separately. List all that stuff out. More detail, the better. So hopefully you'll remember this when you're preparing your return this year, and hopefully you get a lot of value out of this video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and have a fantastic day.